I am a man of honor, integrity, and promise. I pursue all righteousness. I love my family. I will not put my family in harm's way. There is nothing that will keep me from doing the right thing. I am an ambassador of hope and a man of discipline. I am a man worth following. I am a TYRO.
Welcome to TYRO TV. I'm Ron TYRO.
And I'm Cathy TYRO. And for those of you that don't know who we are, Ron and I are the co-founders of the Ridge Project, co-executive directors, and the co-creators of TYRO.
And we are cohabitors.
We are.
We live together.
Which is super awesome because for
great.
15 years we didn't live together.
That's right. So out of our 15 years, we created a phenomenal...
Why didn't we live together for 15 years?
Well, because I was a lame and I went to prison for 15 years and had to grow up to become a man of honor in the penitentiary.
That's right. So during that 15 years, though, we really learned what it meant to grow stronger as a family and to develop the things that we needed to develop in order to overcome every challenge in front of us.
And one of those things we developed was TYRO. TYRO is a Latin word which means apprentice, novice, someone learning something new, a warrior.
Or a man worth following.
And I'm telling you that this is an exciting time because we get to reinvent ourselves every day. We get to see what we want to be like every day. And that's a man and a woman of honor, a man of good character, a woman of good character, really somebody worth following or somebody worth listening to by being the example that we want others to emanate.
So
is that
this
the word?
program,
Emanate?
Yeah, sure.
Is that right?
You have to follow in the footsteps of, to reflect, to become. We want to help you achieve your dreams and overcome every obstacle. But the primary thing that we really want to help you do is build a legacy of a strong family. Mm-hmm. And so we've created this TV show called TYRO TV to give you information on how you can overcome obstacles in front of you, how you can actually connect with your kids right now from where you are, and things you need to do to go from inside the prison to transition successfully back outside the prison. And today's topic is...
know what your kids are watching, and I want to say it in a better way. Don't take your children's word for it that they're watching something appropriate or watching, just know what they're doing. And that's what we're going to talk about today. Get really engaged and be involved in what your children are doing when you're not looking.
Ask questions. Ask questions.
Even though a show, and we're going to get really deep into it later, but we're going to talk about what's out there with the apparatus or the social media devices, and not necessarily.
It's not like it used to be. When we were growing up, we basically, if we were going to watch a show, it was on TV, and everybody in the room knew what we were watching, and that's not the same anymore.
Now with such mobile digital engagement tools that are out there for everybody, if you get your kids an iPad and stuff like that, and we're going to get into that stuff, you got to know what's happening.
So you want to stay tuned. We'll be right back. When we come back, we're going to talk to you about, what is it we're actually talking about? Why is it important? And how you can monitor what your kids are watching in a way to help them become better and stronger and more responsible.
So you don't want to miss this. We'll be right back.
TYRO Dads will help you to see who you really are on the inside by coming to terms with your past, present, and future. You will begin to move forward by using your time on the inside to transform yourself. We know you're not the only one serving time. Your family is too. Overcoming the issues that existed prior to and during incarceration are often more than what many families can survive. TYRO Dads has a unique method of reaching and healing families based on Ron and Catherine TYRO's own personal experiences. TYRO Dads works exclusively with incarcerated fathers who have minor children. The program lasts for 10 weeks and focuses on intensive character development. You'll be taught to take responsibility for your actions, to own it. You'll be prepared to overcome the obstacles of incarceration and transition back into your home and community, both successfully and permanently. Upon successful completion of this program, you will earn the title of TYRO, which means a warrior, someone learning something new. You will be one of the honored, a man worth following. If you think you have what it takes to be a TYRO or you want to know more, contact your local project facilitator or your institution staff.
Welcome back to TYRO TV. I'm Ron TYRO.
And I'm Cathy TYRO. And today we are talking about knowing what your kids are watching.
Listen, dads, it is so vital. It is so crucial to the health and well-being of your children that you are conscious and you stay engaged to know what your children are watching, because nothing is sacred anymore.
That's right. Everything is out there. Your kids have access to things unlike ever before in history. So they can be sitting in your living room, they can be up in their room, they could be in their car, they could be in the bathroom, they can be outside, they can be in the garage, they can be anywhere. As long as they have internet access, they can be watching anything.
Listen, dads, I'm gonna tell you this. There's a time where you are not gonna be their friend. I think that a lot of times when fathers find themselves incarcerated and they're away from their family and kids, they don't want to be the bad guy anymore. They want to be. We want to come into our family and we want to be the nice guy because we want them to love us and we want them to be happy we're there because we've been gone for so long, and for us to come in and set rules and guidelines. They don't want to hear that, and the dad, he wants to be their friend. I'll just be their friend, and then later I'll come behind with some rules and guidelines.
Well, speaking about behind, like what we're talking about is really understanding that the free access and the free reign that your kids have to all kinds of uncensored material. And when we say uncensored, we mean that the parents aren't always having the ability to determine what their kids watch. So when we were growing up, like my mom and dad determined what we were going to watch. There was a TV, and we had a couple TVs, but one was in my mom and dad's bedroom, one was in the living room. Everybody saw what you were watching. And so there was a lot of control over that. So what we're talking about today is that you really don't have that much control unless you really exercise your authority that you have in the right way. And that doesn't mean saying, well, absolutely you're not going to watch this, absolutely you're not going to watch that. You can do that when they're younger, but as they get older, you need to find ways and opportunities to really find out, even from where you are. So when we're talking to you, probably think, well, I'm not even really home. How can I really know what they're watching? And so that means that you have to be really involved in their lives through letter writing, and when talking with them, when you talk to them about, hey, what shows are you watching? What's interesting about them?
It's really important that you don't let up on this one, dads. You're competing against their time versus media time.
And their peers.
And I'm telling you right now that, you want to trust them. You want to believe that they're of age, that they can make that conscious decision. But you got to really understand that the things that are out there are so enticing and so inviting that before you know it, your child could be watching something that might look to be so innocent, and then subliminally or something just out of the blue will show up on this TV show that they've been watching that you knew was rated PG-13 and it was cool, or even PG, but all of a sudden they've got some scenes in there that are so inappropriate for a 12, 13-year-old, 14-year-old child to be watching, that you don't even know about it because they're in the season number 2, right? Or 5, and all of a sudden the season's got to be more risque or more progressive in their delivery or their thinking that, it's too late. They already watched season 1, 2, and 3, and you didn't even know what you missed because you went there with them.
Because you're a step behind.
And
it's hard to keep up.
It is hard to keep up. And that's a great way to put that.
So it doesn't matter how great your kids are. And I'm going to use an example. So we have this amazing teenage daughter. She makes tons of great decisions. She's an honor roll student. She's in all kinds of sports. And so we're talking about, hey, you know what? We're going to give her a little bit more responsibility, right? And so we discussed, okay, before the phone was always downstairs and we always had to be there. Ron says, you know what? I think it's okay. We're to the place now where she can actually just, let her use her phone for music. Let her have it with her wherever she is.
Well, music, movies, right? They're almost in their mind, they're the same thing. I'm in my room, I'm listening to music, but at the same time, kids are really, sneaky, and they can be brilliant and all that type of stuff, and they don't mean to be, because they're still innocent, and they just, give a kid an inch of what they're trying to take a mile, all those type of things. Listen, dads, don't trust them. Don't trust them.
No, that's not what we're saying, Ron. So what we're saying is that yes, you want to give incremental responsibility, but it has to be monitored. So unmonitored responsibility creates an atmosphere for trouble. And that trouble can just be their peers saying, hey, wait, join me, watch this movie, watch this show, let's watch it together because, it's really cool, it's really awesome, everybody's watching it. And so then they think, hey, this is okay, and so they begin to do it. And so we want to, and it's very important that we begin to give incremental responsibility and help them make decisions about what they're watching, but that we are monitoring it. So when we come back, we're going to talk about, okay, why is it so important to monitor? We talked about really what it is that is the issue and the possible problem. When we come back, we're going to talk about why, and then we're going to talk about how. So stay tuned.
playing catch, basketball, laughing, and enjoying each other's company. These are all normal things on the outside, but many times are missed in a visitation setting. TYRO Dads brings the same fun experience to the inside through Family Days. As a TYRO Dad, you have the opportunity to participate in this fantastic event. Family Day is designed to allow fathers and families to engage with each other through activities designed to stimulate communication, learning, and play. Family Days will not only be a highlight for you, but for your children as well. The Ridge Project has strategically developed Family Day as an opportunity to help you connect with your child throughout your separation and help both of you develop skills to continue building your relationship when you return home.
Welcome back to TYRO TV. I'm Ron TYRO.
And I'm Cathy TYRO. And today we are talking about knowing what your kids are watching.
Today we're talking about do not let your children out of your sight with the mobile digital engagement tool.
Stop that. What you mean is a phone, an iPad, or a computer. Stop
You know what?
saying that.
Mobile digital engagement tool. You know, so I said, So when you think about it, and
Yeah,
dads,
obviously a 15-year gap during technology.
yeah,
Yeah.
and when I learned how to say that whole phrase in one, all those words in the one sentence, it kind of stuck to me. Mobile digital engagement tool, right? So anyways, really what we're talking about is learning the parameters you put on your kids, why is it important to monitor and to supervise and to just not let your children have free reign over the internet.
Right. Or over TV. So having TVs in your kids' room is a really bad idea unless they are well monitored. And that means setting a timer, that they lose electricity after a certain hour, that you have things set up, you've got child safety on it.
We've watched some shows with our little girl, and a lot of the shows that are coming out now that are family oriented, right? You would think that they would be appropriate, but what they're displaying is that it's okay for the child or the children to disrespect
Their
dad. Not necessarily mom, but they're really, and I really think, this is my opinion, that there's an attack on the office of fatherhood.
Mm-hmm.
And I think society, and what they're making these new TV shows, they're showing dad as really an idiot,
Mm-hmm.
that he can't think for himself, that he has no say.
He's bumbling, right?
Yeah, and that mom is really the one who's running the whole house, and she's the breadwinner, and she's doing everything right because the children are always going to mom, and dad is the one, right? Right?
And so we're not saying don't watch those shows, we're saying use those as conversation starters. So we're talking about why is this so important? Because our children are affected by what it is that they're taking in.
You are what you eat, right? You are what you eat. And if our children are watching this stuff, they might think it's okay. Hey, so-and-so on TV disrespects their dad, and they don't even know it's disrespect. That's the way they're talking to their dad on TV. So they'll come
So they
home.
accept that as this is normal, this is acceptable, this is how I should be when I'm a teenager, or when I'm this age or that age. That's what's expected. And I remember having a conversation with our daughter one day, and so she was like, yeah, well, I can't wait till like when I'm 15 or 16, and then I'm gonna be moody, and I'm gonna, I'm always gonna say whatever. And I was like, why would you do that? And she says, well, that's what teenagers do. And I said, okay, where are you getting that? She says, well, Mom, all teenagers do that. But who do you know that does that? And then we had to really stop and really think about who she knows that does that are all TV personas. It's nobody she knows individually and personally. And so that's one of the many reasons why when you think about what are your kids taking in? What are they watching? How is it affecting the way that they're thinking and seeing the world?
I know my daughter, she's already got this, our daughter has this idea that when she turns 16 years old and she gets a driver's license, that she can just, whenever she wants, she said, well, whenever I want, I can just get in the car and drive and go wherever I want.
We just laugh, right?
And we laughed at her, but she was so serious, she said, well, yes I can. I'm going to be 16. You're going to give me a truck. I can just get in the truck. You ain't got to worry about me anymore. I can take myself anywhere I want to
go
go.
everywhere we need to go.
You
And so we're like, okay, well, that is not how real life works. But see, those are the smaller battles when kids are watching TV and hearing messages and seeing images that are contrary to the culture that you're trying to set for your family. The deeper things, one of the big things that kids are watching right now is 13 Reasons Why. When you think about 13 Reasons Why and how graphic that is, and it's all about suicide and why somebody's committing suicide, And all of these young people are watching this, and they're thinking that, oh wow, well if this happens, that gives me a reason to take my life. Or, oh wow, you know what, this happened or that happened, and so you know what, gosh, maybe I should be thinking about suicide. So it's very important that we are asking questions about what is it you're watching? What do you think about those things? How do those things relate to things you're thinking and feeling right now?
You know, I think even that show that Cathy mentioned, it's actually sending a message to our children that this is normal, this is acceptable, and it's okay to think like this, to walk like this, and to talk like this. And so what happens is, if they think it long enough, right? Dads, come on now, right? If they start thinking it long enough, then they start acting on those thoughts and that behavior, because it's something that they're contemplating on an ongoing basis. And literally, instead of coming out and talking about it and figuring out, okay, how do you get past from thinking about it to being healed or whatever's troubling the child? Because, oh, come on now, we got to be real, because even when we were growing up as kids, you know, you may have thought that, but you didn't do it,
the
right?
struggle is real, especially for young people, especially for teens. When we're talking about the ages of like 11 to 17, this is a big deal, Dad. And so even when your kids are younger, they need you, and they especially need monitored through their whole lives. But it's affecting the way they see the world. When you think about your opportunity to really have input into your kids' lives, this is a key area that you can really spend time getting to know your kids. Find out what it is they're watching. Discover, go and find out more about it. When we come back, we're going to give you practical tips and tools on how you can actually become involved in what they're seeing on TV, and you can use those as learning tools.
So stay tuned, and we will be right back.
Dear son, it's been hard these last few years, watching you grow up without me in the picture. Never taking the time to find out how you were or what was going on in your life. You're just a boy, I thought. You don't need me. I didn't need my dad. He was never around, I told myself. But I was wrong, son. I'm supposed to be a grown man. I was selfish. I was stupid. I was thinking of me, not you. If I could go back, son, and change things, I would. It's taken me all this time being selfish to finally grow up and realize I need to be a responsible man. That's what I finally learned, not from prison, but the TYRO program. It's all about becoming a better, stronger man. Wish I would have gotten it sooner. Everything looks different to me now. I'm a changed person. I know I need to be there for you now. It's not about me anymore. It's not about being cool. It's not about who I run with. It's about Mom. It's about you. It's about being a better man, learning something new in my life. It's about being a TYRO, a man worth following. I'm your dad. You're my son, and I love you. I am a TYRO. I'm a TYRO. Dad.
If you think you have what it takes to be a TYRO or just want to know more, contact your local Ridge Project facilitator or your caseworker.
Welcome back to TYRO TV. I'm Ron TYRO.
And I'm Cathy TYRO, and
Woo!
today we are talking about knowing what your kids are watching.
You know, it's easy to talk about this because it's a sweet spot, right? It's a spot that you really got to pay attention to. It's a spot that you got to be engaged. Dads, listen to me. You can't take your children at their word. I know we want to, but listen, they're children, and they need somebody to help guide them in this topic that we're talking about, because social media, Netflix, YouTube, Vudu, Hulu, it don't matter, Amazon, everybody's trying to inundate everybody with movies that are inappropriate, TV shows that are inappropriate for a child, you know, because they're trying to recreate a new culture where everything's acceptable. You know, when you're not even of age,
well, they're just
right?
trying to sell their movie. They're trying to sell their stuff. They're trying to garner an audience. They do not care about the culture. They don't care about the messaging. They want to create a buzz where everybody is watching and buying into what they're selling.
And I think the key phrase that Cathy used, they don't care about you. They don't care about your kids.
Right.
All they want is their dollar, right?
Right. So when we think about how can you actually get involved? And the first thing, Ron, you named off a bunch of the culprits, if you will, or the places. We use Vudu, we use Netflix, we use Hulu, we use Amazon. We use all of these places where we can actually get movies and we can enjoy movies at home. But these are also a gateway. They're an opportunity for your kids to go on and find things that maybe they shouldn't be watching. So how can you actually know what your kids are watching? So first of all, know the places that they can go. So when you're talking to them, you can ask them, hey, do you watch things on Netflix? What things are you watching? What's most interesting to you? Hey, what about Hulu? Have you heard of Hulu? What are the shows you're watching on Hulu?
Now, I don't know about all the devices or all the apparatuses that are out there that you may have gotten your kids, but you got to go on there to find out if there's blockers, if there's securities. Now, I know Netflix has a thing where you can set it to
you can't go on there from where you are,
right?
But you can certainly talk to the mother of your children, or you talk to some other adult that you know has access to their devices.
And they can actually set it up to where they can only watch age-appropriate shows for them. They can't go and see something that you wouldn't watch as an adult, so they would just stay age-appropriate. Right.
So let's go through the list really quick of the places that you want to ask your kids about, and you want to talk to the caregiver of your kids about making sure that they're setting some privacy settings, some safety settings, some child-proof settings. And so one is YouTube. There are all kinds of stuff out there on YouTube. Another one is actually Twitter. There's video feeds on Twitter. Then you've got Vudu, you've got Hulu, you've got Netflix, you've got Amazon. Am I missing any?
No, I think
Probably.
it's
There's probably other ones out there.
out.
They're coming out there every single day. Something new is out there, and I'm like, wait, what? What is that?
So just we want to encourage you to be active, be engaged in what's happening, because now, Dad, some of you have been away for a little while, and some of you have no idea what we're talking about on these things. You've heard about them, but you never see them, and so you're gonna have to check yourself, right? Because there's gonna be some things out there that are tempting to you to watch that may not be appropriate even for you, and you know what I'm talking about. But you're gonna have to, if you're having a battle with not watching certain things, how much more of a battle are your kids having not watching certain things, right?
So having open, honest conversations is really, really important for your kids. Letting them know that you recognize what's available out there, listening to things. Hey, are you on any of these things? What are the things that you like? And then ask them, what do you think of that? Find out what most kids are watching, and all you have to do is turn on your TV and listen to the news, and you'll know what's happening. And ask them, are you watching this? Are you following this? Well, what do you think of this? Why do you like it? And then you really get some insights into your kids, and then you can talk to them about, hey, you know what? Yeah, that's a great show. You know, one of the things that I think is, what do you think about how they portray Dad in that show? For example, that's something that Ron would say to Bria. Hey, so what do you think about the way they portrayed that Dad? And Bria will say, gosh, that Dad looks really dumb, like really stupid. And then Ron will say, well, why do you think they're portraying him like that? And how does that make you feel? Because when you start talking about, then your kids are watching it, not just soaking in everything that they see. They're actually learning to be critically thinking about what it is they're watching and deciding whether or not it makes sense for them to continue to watch it.
So don't take anything for granted, Dad. Don't take what they're picking for granted. They need to be mentored. They need to be guided. They need to be led in making the right decisions as they grow up, to be able to be conscious of decisions that they're going to be making when they're out of the house, when they're grown up. Because right now it's so crucial. If you have children that are home, and you're not home, of course, but you have people there, get engaged. Write the letter. Ask them the tough questions. Tell them that you want to help them in their decision making. And you got to figure out how you're going to do this.
And
with
I love the way you said that, Ron. You want to help them in their decision making, because if you come at them as a dictator, you will not do this, you will not do that.
That ain't gonna work.
Especially in the upper teen years, that's not going to work. When we're talking 13 to 17, it's got to be a conversation. And there have to be all kinds of learning moments, because they're going to mess up. They're going to watch things they shouldn't have watched. They're going to do things they shouldn't have done. And you want them to fail while they're still in the safety of your family, where you can still help them to overcome that failure and learn from it, instead of feel like they've completely blown it.
And so when they do fail, because Dad, they are going to fail.
They're
They're going to watch something that, why are you watching this? You got to be cool. You got to have understanding. Because, as fathers, and we see something that they're watching, we don't want to be quick to react, but we want to be quick to respond.
So when we come back, we're going to leave you with 3 positive tool tips that you can use right now to really know what your kids are watching and have an input and a place and a voice in that space.
So you don't want to miss this, and we'll be right back.
TYRO Dads will help you to see who you really are on the inside by coming to terms with your past, present, and future. You'll begin to move forward by using your time on the inside to transform yourself. We know you're not the only one serving time. Your family is too. Overcoming the issues that existed prior to and during incarceration are often more than what many families can survive. TYRO Dads has a unique method of reaching and healing families based on Ron and Catherine TYRO's own personal experiences. TYRO Dads works exclusively with incarcerated fathers who have minor children. The program lasts for 10 weeks and focuses on intensive character development. You'll be taught to take responsibility for your actions, to own it. You'll be prepared to overcome the obstacles of incarceration and transition back into your home and community, both successfully and permanently. Upon successful completion of this program, you will earn the title of TYRO, which means a warrior, someone learning something new. You will be one of the honored, a man worth following. If you think you have what it takes to be a TYRO, or you want to know more, contact your local project facilitator or your institution staff.
Welcome back to TYRO TV. I'm Ron TYRO.
And I'm Cathy TYRO, and today we are talking about knowing what your child is watching.
Which is really, 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 really important, gentlemen. You know,
Really important.
It's so important that don't take anything for granted,
Right.
right? Because we already know us as guys, we're visual, right? We are visual. We're stimulated by what we see.
What?
Yeah.
Sorry, just kidding.
We are. And so imagine being 13, guys. Remember? 14? But even with our little girls, you know, it is so important. They may not, women that grow up, they may not be visually stimulated, but they're taking in a lot of content. And of course we know girls grow up faster than boys, at least mentally, right?
And it's affecting the way that they see the world. It's affecting the way they see themselves and their place in the world. And it's really important that we are in the middle of that and guiding and directing them so they can navigate through it.
So don't, like I said, don't take anything for granted. You know, so what we're going to do now is we're going to talk about 3 things that can help you combat this. Is that the right word, combat it?
That's right. And we talked about it throughout the whole show, but we want to be really concentrated so you know these 3 things. Number 1, ask questions. That is the most important thing that you can be doing, is making sure you're involved by asking questions. In order to ask questions, you have to be spending time with your child.
Because you can't just show up on the scene and start doing the drilling, the 20 questions.
Right.
Because they're already going to shut it down and not going to tell you anything. But you got to build a relationship. You got to work your way into this place where, you know what, they can trust you. Because that's going to be key, Dad, when you get home, is building that trust. You're not their friend. Dad, let me say it again.
But you're also
right?
not their warden. You can't be blowing up on them and just demanding that they follow what you say that they're going to do. You've got to be, when we say the word discipline, raising up a child and disciplining them, that is being responsible, not reactive.
You know, that's pretty cool. You know, the difference between punishment and discipline. What we know, discipline comes with understanding.
Right.
Right? Punishment doesn't.
Right.
Right? And so that's what we're talking about. How do you discipline, even in yourself, with your relationship with your daughter and your son? You know, asking questions, not 20 questions.
That's right. Asking questions so that you can really help them, not asking questions so that they can get in trouble. There's a difference.
Yeah.
And so number 1 is ask questions. Number 2 is watch what's out there, which means you're going to have to spend time watching things you don't want to watch, so that you know what's out there, so you can have an intelligent conversation with your child. You know what, I watched this. These were the things that concern me about it.
You know, it's really important that you take the time to do that. And you might think you're wasting your time, but you're not, because you're investing time into your children. You know, and the third thing that we got here written down is connect with the adult on the outside. You know, it's really important because you know you're inside, but you got to connect with them. You got to be able to connect with the people that are taking care of your kids, right? If it's mom, if it's grandma, whoever it is, and encourage them to get involved, to encourage them, listen, I need you to interfere. I need you to play referee.
I need you to link your account to their accounts. Whenever they set up an account, make sure you're linked to it so you can see what's happening there. I need you to set up those safeties in there. I need you to make sure that you've got it child-proof or adult-proof or teen-proof. And so those are the 3 tips we want to leave you with. When we think about watching or knowing what your children are watching, ask questions that are relational questions so you can actually build rapport and actually help them.
Watch the TV shows that are out there so you know what they're watching.
And
right?
connect with an adult that can monitor it on the outside.
So listen, we hope you enjoyed today's show. We enjoyed it, and we want to thank you for allowing us to be part of your journey. So until next time, always remember, we are rooting for you.
I am a man of honor.
I am a man of integrity.
I am a man of faith. I am the antidote.
I am a man of discipline. I am a leader.
I am strong.
I am a man worth following.
I am a TYRO.